Hello friends, welcome back to JK Shah classes. I am Professor Nihit Jhaveri. Today we will be revising this chapter called POEM, that is Place of Effective Management. This has a reference to computing or determining residential status of a foreign company. As far as companies are concerned, in the previous chapter we discussed in special provisions for non-resident and foreign company, we discussed section 6 talks about how to determine residential status. 6.1 was for individuals, 6.2 was for HUF, partnership firm, and LLP, AOP. 6.3 is for companies and 6.4 was for every person other than the above. So 6 clause 3, place of effective management for company. As far as companies are concerned, the residential status of companies is concerned, we know pretty well. Company can be either resident or company can be non-resident. It can never be ROR or NOR. And second thing we know is Indian companies are always resident in India. Company which is incorporated under Companies Act 1956 or under Companies Act 2013. That means this chapter is exclusively concentrating on foreign companies, how to determine residential status of a foreign company. So as far as foreign companies are concerned, that is company incorporated outside India, residential status will totally depend upon place of effective management. Now, what do you mean by place of effective management? That is not given in the Act. It is given by way of CBDT circular, which you did not have at inter-CA level. CBDT circular of 2017, January 2017, and one is of February 2017. There are two CBDT circulars. So place of effective management could be either in India or could be outside India. It cannot be partly in India, partly outside India, as we discussed in the previous chapter. Indian company is always resident in India, irrespective of the location of place of effective management. As far as foreign companies are concerned, if the management, that is POEM is outside India, then it will be non-resident in India. If the POEM is in India, then it will be resident in India. How to determine place of effective management? That is the key point. Now everything will be focused on that. As I said, that is not given in the Act. It is given by way of two CBDT circulars of January 17 and February 17. You don't need to remember the date or the number of the circular. Foreign company fulfills two conditions, then it will be resident in India. Then place of effective management will be presumed to be in India. It says number 1, foreign company should be engaged in ABOI. What is ABOI? Active business outside India. Company should be engaged in active business outside India, and plus second condition is out of his meeting of board of directors, majority meeting of board of directors should be outside India. Majority meetings of board of directors are held outside India, then POEM will be presumed to be outside India. Understand very carefully. Here CBDT does not say POEM will definitely be outside India. It says POEM will be presumed to be outside India. There are other factors also which can play an important role. So condition number 1, ABOI. What do you mean by ABOI? When can we say that foreign company is engaged in active business outside India? If all the following 4 conditions are satisfied, all of them, then foreign company will be said to be engaged in active business outside India. Number 1, out of its total income world over, not more than 50% income should be passive income. Out of total income, passive income is not more than 50% of its global income, whether in India or earned outside India makes no difference. Second condition is with regards to number of assets. Out of total assets, I would say not number of assets, but in terms of value. Out of total assets globally, less than 50% of the assets should be located in India or situated in India. Out of global assets, less than 50% of assets should be located in India. Third condition is with regards to number of employees. Out of employees working for the company globally, less than 50% employees should be in India. Less than 50% of employees should be either situated in India or should be resident of India. And the last condition is with regards to payroll expenses, but payroll expenses on such employees. Such employees means those employees which are situated in India or which are resident in India. Out of total payroll expenses world over, less than 50% of payroll expenses should be with regards to employees which are resident in India. Out of total payroll expenses incurred, less than 50% of its total payroll expenses is on such employees. Such employees would mean employees who are resident in India or situated in India. First condition has a slightly different language. not more than 50%, not more than 50%. That means sign would be this way. And in all other three conditions with regards to assets, number of employees and the amount of payroll expenses, for these three, it says less than 50. Less than 50% of assets should be in India, less than 50% of employees should be in India, less than 50% of payroll expenses of such employee should be with regards to Indian employee. Less than, less than, less than, and here it is not exceeding. That means less than or equal to. So here it is less than or equal to. Please be very careful about it. This condition with regards to poem, 4 conditions are to be checked on an average for 3 years combined together. Current year plus immediately preceding 2 years. Average data of the current year plus immediately preceding 2 years to be taken into account. Now, in case if the company is in existence for a period of less than 3 years, that is shorter period, then the average data of such shorter period shall be taken into account. In case company is engaged in active business outside India, then we will see where are the board of directors meeting taking place. If taking place, majority meetings are outside India, then poem will be presumed to be outside India. However, if board of directors are standing aside as in board of directors are only for name purpose, they don't actually take any active decisions. Key managerial decisions are taken by holding company in India or some other person resident in India, then don't look at the place where board of directors meeting is taking place. Majority meetings are in India or outside India, don't look at it. Straight away, poem will be considered to be in India, provided active business should be outside India. Second condition, majority more than 50% of board of directors meeting is outside India. Don't see this condition if board of directors are only for namesake, they are standing aside. But first condition will have to be fulfilled. Company should be engaged in active business outside India. Then poem will be considered to be outside India irrespective of the place where board of directors meeting taking place. When is this applicable? This is applicable, meaning thereby when do we not have to see the place where board of directors meeting taking place? Answer, in case if board of directors are standing aside. However, there are 2 clarifications with regards to this. It says if the board of directors are just following the global policy or objectives of global policy of the group. For example, JK Shah classes world over, wherever JK Shah classes is there, the interior is same. The uniform of staff member will be same. Everything will be same projector, same whiteboard, same benches, same type of stage will be created. Everything would be same. So that's a global policy. Or anybody taking admission in JK Shah classes cannot make cash payment. We don't accept cash payment. We accept only check payment or we accept payment by online, NEFT, RTGS or online transfer. That is a global policy of JK Shah classes. If just because the foreign company is following global policy, which they are mandatorily required to follow, that does not mean board of directors are standing aside. Board of directors might be taking some other key important decisions. However, it says GAR provisions can be applied in such situation. This is an important point. Fifth point, company can have only one place of effective management. If you recollect the earlier provision, this new concept is with effect from AY 1617. Earlier, prior to this, there was a concept of only place of current affairs, place of financial affairs and management of the company. Meaning thereby, the management and affairs could be partly in India, partly outside India also, apart from wholly outside India or wholly in India. But place of effective management can be only in one country at a time. Poem will have to be checked on a year-to-year basis. Of course, we know pretty well. The way residential status is to be checked every year. Same way, poem also, it's not a one-time exercise. Every year we'll have to check. Every year we'll have to check these 4 conditions for 3 years average. An important point which can come in the form of an MCQ, that this concept will not apply given in section 6 clause 3 subclause 2. Section 6 clause 3 subclause 1 is for Indian company and subclause 2 is for foreign company, that is company other than Indian company. For foreign company, concept of poem will not apply for a company whose turnover gross receipt is 50 crore or less than 50 crore in a given financial year. But then what to do for such companies with less than 50 crore turnover? We don't know. Government has not clarified. CBDT has also not bothered to clarify. But only this 50 crore limit can come in the exam in the form of MCQ. Fill in the blanks. Otherwise, question no more expected. Now, what about the companies which are not engaged in active business outside India? Determining poem for companies other than companies engaged in ABOI. other than companies engaged in ABOI means those companies which are not engaged in active business outside India. That means they are having either active business in India or maybe having only passive business outside India. Then two stages. Which two stage? Then it says find out two things. Stage number one, find out the persons who are taking key decisions or persons who are engaged in the key management of the company. Second stage or second condition, find out the place, identify the place from where they are taking such decisions. However, CBDT has given these 2 points in its circular, but CBDT has not clarified what to do exactly. Supposingly, persons I have identified, there are 3 people, Mr. A, Mr. B, Mr. C. They are engaged in key management decision, agreed. But now the question is, which place are they taking decisions from? So answer, all 3 of them are taking decision, let's say from India. Then what to do? Whether poem will be deemed to be situated in India or not, that has not been clarified. Or supposingly they are all taking decision from UAE. Then what to do? Can we say that poem is outside India? Or supposingly 50% decisions are from India and 50% decisions are taken from UAE, foreign country. Then what to do? That CBDT has failed to clarify. Maybe this thought process might not have come up in their mind. But from exam perspective, only theory question can come on this. Otherwise, up till now, only practical questions have come, and that too on calculation of ABOI. So we can conclude that foreign company is engaged in ABOI plus second condition, majority meetings of board of directors are outside India. Then we can say poem is presumed to be outside India. But in case if it is other than company engaged in ABOI, that means foreign company is not engaged in ABOI, or it is other than company engaged in ABOI, meaning is same, then two stages. Stage 1, identify the persons who are taking key management decision, and number 2, identify the place or determine the place from where decisions are taken in fact. Okay, and in case if place of effective management cannot be determined on the basis of the above two stages, then two extra points are given by CBDT. Find out the place where main and substantial activity of the company is carried out. Now it depends whether what is the main activity. For example, McDonald's burger, if you see, the burger selling is not their main activity. Main activity is real estate. So in that case, which is the main activity or substantial activity, which country are they taking place? But here CBDT has again failed to clarify that if the main activity is in India, then whether poem will be deemed to be situated in India or not, that they should have clarified, which they have not. So whatever provisions are made are incomplete. Or the place where accounting records of the company are kept. Now, one by one, whatever conditions that we discussed, 4 conditions to decide whether active business outside India or not, company is engaged in active business outside India or not. The first point was with regards to passive income, second one was with regards to assets, third one with regards to employees, and fourth one with regards to payroll expenses. All these 4 terminologies are being clarified by CBDT in its circular. Passive income means 2 incomes, following 2. Out of them, first one is very logical income. Passive incomes are those incomes which do not require any active participation, which do not require much of efforts to earn income. Like the way I am taking lectures here and earning income, this is my active income. But dividend, interest, royalty, these are all passive incomes whereby I earn money first by working hard, by earning active income, and then active income I'm parking somewhere, I'm investing somewhere and earning passive income. What do you mean by passive income? So passive income is clarified. Passive income means 2 of the incomes, following 2 incomes. Out of them, second one is very logical. What is passive income basically? Passive income means income which is earned without doing any active participation, without doing any active work, or without much of efforts. So for example, I am taking lectures out at here. So I worked hard. I am taking lectures here. That's why I am earning. This income will be my active income. But after earning active income, if I park my fund somewhere, if I invest somewhere and earn dividend from FD or shares or put FD, earn interest income, these incomes, interest, dividend, capital gain, these incomes are called as passive income, which are earned without putting much of efforts. So passive income has 2 meanings, starting with the second meaning first. Interest, royalty, dividend, capital gain. Royalty, dividend, capital gain and interest. However, interest is ideally a passive income, but not for banks and insurance company, except in case of interest, except in case of company engaged in banking business or is a public financial institution. And last one is rental income. These incomes are called as passive income. This we know pretty well. In other chapter also we have discussed somewhere. But first one, if you understand, First one is little illogical. That's why first one is important. You'll have to remember that. Income whereby the purchase as well as sale, both purchase of goods as well as sale of goods or services, both are with the associated enterprises. Both are from associated enterprise. Which two transaction? Purchase and sale both. Nothing clarified whether purchase or sale of goods or purchase or sale of services or both. The answer by default, purchase and sale of goods as well as services, both are with the associated enterprise, then it will be called as a passive income. Normally it is not a passive income, but here for the purpose of CBDT circular on POEM, it will be deemed to be passive income, and that's why it is important. What do you mean by income? So income also needs to be understood, whether income to be computed as per our Indian taxation law or the taxation law of that country where the company is incorporated. The answer, it should be as per taxation law, not as per books of accounts, and secondly it should be as per taxation law of the country where the company, foreign company is incorporated, where the country of incorporation. So company is incorporated in Japan, let's say TCS Japan, then income to be computed as per taxation law of Japan. However, if it is situated in such a country, incorporated in such a country where the taxation law do not require computation of income, laws of such country does not require computation of any income. For example, either there is no tax on income, or maybe the tax is charged as per some other criteria and not as per actual income, some presumptive taxation scheme is applicable, then in such situation income shall be as per books of account. Ideally it should be for tax purpose, but in absence of any tax computation in that country of incorporation, the income to be computed as per books of accounts, but books of accounts will be given second priority, remember that. No need to apply all these provision in exam. Whatever past exam questions that have come on POEM, they've always, institute has always given the income. They've always given the amount. Amount is given only. You don't bother about whether it is as per tax purpose or as per books of accounts or as per taxation laws of India or taxation laws of Japan. Don't worry about it. Next is value of assets. So we discuss about passive income and income. Now about assets, thereafter employee, thereafter payroll expenses. Second concept is about assets, not more than 50%. No, not more than 50% language was used only for passive income. As far as assets, employee and payroll expenses are concerned, what was the sign used? Less than 50% of the assets are in India. So the question is, less than 50% of assets are in India. So assets will have to be computed not in terms of number, not in terms of units, in terms of value. Value of assets in India should be less than 50% of global value of all the assets. So question is, value as on what day and which value? Market value, book value, cost price, WDV, which value? The answer, if it is depreciable asset, then take WDV. If it is non-depreciable asset, then take value as per books of account. Here we don't have to take market value. FMV not to be taken into account under any circumstances. Depreciable and non-depreciable assets are divided into two categories, but depreciable assets are further divided into two categories, A and B, which means number A, individually depreciable asset. Individually means whereby there is no block asset concept. Block of asset system is not there. Assets are depreciable individually, which generally we do it for SLM purpose. And in case if there is a pool of fixed assets being treated as block, there is a block of assets. So both are depreciable. They are depreciable, but they are divided into two categories, depreciable asset wise individually, and number two, depreciable block wise, that is the system which India follows. In either which ways, we have to take average of opening WDV and closing WDV. Opening WDV at the beginning of the previous year, closing WDV at the end of the previous year, take total divided by 2. It shall be average of its value for tax purposes. So it should be not as per books of accounts. Don't take the value as per books of account. Don't even take FMV. Take value as per tax purpose. Tax purpose means as per taxation laws of that country where the company is incorporated at the beginning and at the end of the previous year. However, CBDT has failed to clarify what if the asset is newly acquired. If it is newly acquired, then it wouldn't appear in the opening balance sheet. Opening balance sheet would be 0. Plus at the end of the year, the value is 100. Okay, then take. But we have to take WDV. So if acquired for 100, then at the end of the balance sheet, at the end of the previous year, it wouldn't be 100. It would be 90 or maybe 80 lakhs WDV. In case it is pool of fixed assets treated as block, then also same treatment, average of its value for tax purposes at the beginning of the year and at the end of the previous year. Simply average. Both the situation, same concept. I don't understand why CBDT has divided them into two categories. They could have kept only one category and they could have mentioned a clarification whether depreciable individually or depreciable as a block. Once it is a depreciable asset, take the average of opening plus closing WDV. However, it should be opening as on what date and closing as on what date. Supposedly, it is TCS Japan, foreign company involved in the case is TCS Japan, where they follow calendar year system, January to December. In India, we follow April to March. So when we say opening WDV, should it be as on 1st January or should it be as on 1st April? So answer, it says tax purpose, as per value for tax purpose, agreed, but tax purpose of which country? Of India or the taxation laws of foreign country? That CBDT has not clarified. In exam, institute will give you directly the amount. This is the value of asset. Think whatever you want to think. But remember, we have to take average of 3 years, current year plus preceding 2 years. Okay. So it says that beginning and at the end of previous year. Previous year as in, previous year does not mean the preceding year. When we talk about last year, no, then government or CBDT will say preceding year. They don't say previous year. Previous year means current financial year. Current financial year is called as previous year. So your previous year would be understood as per Indian taxation system, April to March. So even if TCS Japan is following January to December, then you don't take value as on 1st January and 31st December. Still find out value as on 1st April of the current year and 31st March in the next year. In case of any other asset would mean non-depreciable asset by default. Non-depreciable asset. It shall be value for books of account. Value as per books of account. Value as per books of accounts is ideally not to be taken into account, but will be taken into account in case of non-depreciable asset. In our country, we call it as book value. Book value is nothing but purchase price. As far as employees are concerned, we have to again follow the same trick or same system. Average number of employees at the beginning of the year, at the end of the year. Average at the beginning and at the end of the year. However, important point is that the way in case of incomes, passive income, as far as meaning of passive income was concerned, second meaning, there were two meanings. Second meaning was very logical. First meaning was illogical. Transaction where purchase and sale both are with the associated enterprise, which ideally nobody would think or nobody would consider it as a passive income. Same way here also, as far as employees are concerned, there is one unusual point which you need to understand. Employees will include not only those employees which are on the payroll of the company, but will also include those people who are not directly employed by the company, but are performing the same task, which is similar to those performed by the employee of the company. Once institute asked one question where company XYZ Limited had foreign company had outsourced the work to a third party, and third party had appointed, outsourced to third party had appointed 30 people. So those 30 people who are on the payroll of some third party who are not on your payroll, then also they will be deemed to be your employee for the purpose of calculating place of effective management or for the purpose of determining whether company is engaged in active business outside India or not. As far as payroll expenses are concerned, there is a 3-line clarification that payroll expense would mean ideally salary. Whether you call it as salary or you call it as wages, and will include everything: bonus, commission, dearness allowance, all allowances, all perquisites, advance salary, arrears of salary, everything, and related pension and social cost borne by the employer. This wording social cost and related pension is okay, understood, but there is, in India we don't use the word related pension. These terminologies are used abroad. So this is very clearly evident that CBDT has copy pasted the provision from foreign country. And social cost, in India we don't use the word social cost, we call them as retirement benefit. That will include retirement benefit also, or any kind of social cost will include dearness allowance or any bonus, commission, profit in lieu of salary, etc. Okay, now company can be either resident or non-resident, cannot be RNO, we know pretty well. And what will happen if the foreign company becomes resident in India? Foreign company becomes resident in India will have no impact except of taxability. Now instead of non-resident, now it becomes resident. Then being non-resident, only Indian income were taxable. Only Indian incomes were taxable. And now what will happen after it becomes resident for the given year? Global income will be taxable. That's the only difference. Global income will be. As far as tax rates are concerned, it will remain same. Tax rate was 40% for foreign company. Now it is 35%. 40% will become 35. Has become 35. from AY 25-26. Whether that foreign company turns out to be a resident or non-resident makes no difference. Rate of tax will be same. Even rate of surcharge will also be same. 0%, 2%, 5%. 0%, 2%, 5% depending upon total income. Even health and education cess will also remain same. It will have no impact at all. It is just that practical questions are asked. You have to decide whether company will be having POEM in India or outside India. What kind of questions are asked? Up till now, whatever questions have come, in some of the questions they asked us to compute only ABOI. In another question they asked us to compute POEM. Twice questions came where POEM was to be computed. Once question came where only ABOI was to be computed. Plus apart from these practical questions of 6 marks, 8 marks, 10 marks, 10 marks worth of questions are also asked. Institute mainly prefers asking MCQs nowadays. So from MCQ perspective, everything will be given to you. You don't have to compute the value of asset or number of employees. Everything will be given. You just have to recollect the provisions and answer the question. That's it. With that, POEM chapter comes to an end. Revision is over. This video we are ending here only. See you in the next video with some other chapter. Till then, wish you all a very good luck. All the best.